Hey everybody, Kenny Wisdom here with round 4 from the Oregon State Championship. As you can see on your left, we've got Jonathan Paranada opening Hawlucha versus Liam Williams opening Jirachi EX. Jonathan Paranada, for those of you who don't know, is a Washington player. He's only been playing the past 2 or 3 years. He qualified for Worlds this year. I believe that was his first Worlds qualification. Used to play in the New Jersey, New York area with Sam Chen. They are very good friends and went to college together. And now he lives out here in Washington. And has really just had pretty sick runs. I mean, he's always been consistently good as long as I've known him. He's just never really broken through to get the World's invite until this year. He had a top 4 at Washington State's last weekend that sealed the deal for him. And Liam Williams accomplished a lot as a senior player. He was the first seed going into the top 16 of the 2012 Senior World Championships in Kona, Hawaii, before falling to the eventual top 4, the eventual semifinalist, Jack Pitcher. He's also qualified for Worlds multiple times as a senior, but never as a master. I think this is his 3rd year in Masters, maybe 2nd. But so he hasn't accomplished a whole lot. I know he's sitting at 100 and something points. Had to miss a lot of cities and other events this year for school and other things. He's a senior in high school, but still has an outside shot at making it. Just needs a good finish here, and maybe another one at Washington Regionals coming up next month. But so it's still definitely possible. And we can see from Jonathan, JP is what I'll refer to him as his nickname. His first play, he appears to be playing Fighting Crobat. So we've seen this deck on stream before. Just a deck that utilizes the raw aggression and power level of all the fighting type EXs, such as Lucario EX, Landorus EX, and Hawlucha, along with Crobat, Golbat, and Zubat, which can spread damage counters around your opponent's board and kind of manipulate damage, especially bench damage correctly. With the Landorus is a big game. The Hammerhead attack on Landorus will put 30 on your one of your opponent's bench Pokemon, and you can kind of manipulate that with Crobat and Golbat abilities. You see a Crushing Hammer, and if Liam gets a heads on the Strong Energy from Lucario, that's going to be pretty big. Liam is playing Exeggutor, a deck we haven't seen on stream yet. Exeggutor utilizes a lot of the same stuff that the Flareon decks and Night March utilize. It's going to use Battle Compressors and, of course, Executes, and then... But the difference is going to actually attack with Exeggutor. It's going to play an Execute on its bench, attach energy to it, attach a Muscle Band to it, and then attack with Exeggutor using its Blockade attack that does 10 and prevents your opponent from using supporters next turn. So, kind of a controlling deck. You know, you're a little bit slow. You don't have the highest damage output, but locking your opponent out of supporters while simultaneously using cards like you've seen from Liam, like Crushing Hammer. It is big. The deck also plays Empoleon. As you can see, Liam discards the Empoleon to eventually be able to Archies it back. So you can lower your hand to 1 card, just the Archies, play the Archies, put the Empoleon as a stage 2 back onto your bench and draw 5 cards. So, and then from there, Empoleon also has a Diving Draw ability that lets you discard a card and draw 2 cards every turn. And when you have Execute in your discard pile, you can activate their ability, Propagation, to put it back in, put the egg back in your hand, and then discard the Execute to the Diving Draw. So, just basically a decent attacker that lets you draw 2 cards a turn at almost no cost. And we see Liam goes ahead and Versus Seekers for the Archies to bring back the Empoleon and draw 5 cards. Archies and Maxies were 2 cards that I actually criminally underrated at first. I didn't think they were very good. I didn't see the lines with Versus Seeker and manipulating your hand to be able to play stage 2s. Like, I just didn't think of that at all, and I actually thought they were pretty bad, but they've proven to be definitely playable. You have to play them in the right deck. You know, you can't just jam them into anything, but in the right shells, they are very, very powerful. We have an Acro Bike from Liam.
Andrew Birch, Pete McGordy, please report to the side-in area for the 8-man camp tournament. Andrew Birch, Pete McGordy, please report to the side-in area for the 8-man tournament. Thank you.
Liam's going to propagate and place the Execute onto his bench. Another propagation, placing it on the bench. It's rare that you see eggs on the bench, but Liam actually needs to attack with them, and he needs his string attackers, so he's got to do what he has to do. Landorus EX is the draw for Jonathan. And there's the Ultra Ball, discarding Landorus EX and Muscle Band. Looks like it's going to fetch up a Jirachi, use Stellar Guidance to get a supporter, maybe. Didn't quite see the last card in JP's hand. So yeah, there's the Stellar Guidance for Professor Juniper. JP going to take a look through his deck, try to determine what's prized. Doing some routine shuffling. I actually think the last card in his hand is a Fighting Energy, if I remember correctly. So I imagine he'll place that onto the Lucario and then just play the Juniper. The interesting thing about this matchup, too, which is kind of similar to the Toad versus Fighting matchup, but actually much, much more relevant here, is that Lucario's going to be able to draw you up to 6 cards with his second attack, Corkscrew Smash. And so you can get into a situation where your opponent is blockading, you can't play supporters, but because of Corkscrew Smash, you get to draw, up 5 cards a turn, 3 cards a turn, and you can kind of mimic a supporter that way. Obviously not as good as being able to play a supporter and then also do that to draw cards. You're not just swimming in card advantage, but it does allow you to kind of, play a pseudo supporter every turn. You're going to be playing a Bill or a Charon, basically, and really kind of, I wouldn't say completely invalidate the Exeggutor strategy, but it's definitely kind of your ace in the hole. The other thing to consider is that I actually think this matchup is not great for JP. And you see he actually attaches to the Landorus just to get a knockout on the Execute. Totally reasonable play there. Liam's already committed an energy to the Execute. He has a low amount of cards in hand. You may as well just try and put some damage, get a knockout, and then put some damage on that Jirachi, rather, which can definitely be a big game. But regardless, I think the matchup is pretty poor for JP. I wouldn't say it's nowhere near unplayable, but just not the best. Liam has built-in card advantage everywhere he goes. He is cutting him off from blockade or using supporters. You only have so many Lucarios. There's just lots of things that Liam has to his advantage, and you see that rainbow energy on the Empoleon. The Empoleon can actually attack the Landorus for relevant amounts of damage. And there's a laser. Heads is going to stay asleep. There's the Genesect. Now, the Genesect's main role in the deck typically is to use its red signal ability by attaching a plasma energy to it. Blockade can be used with colorless energy, so you don't need to worry about having to find too many grass. So if you just play a plasma like you see Liam has in his discard pile onto the Genesect, you get basically a Lysander effect or a Gust of Wind effect, whatever you like to call it, every turn. Every turn that you can attach, rather. And with the blockade, you're usually, if you're winning the game, you're controlling it, and your opponent's not really doing much. So you can usually have turns and turns to find energy. This flip's going to be pretty big for JP, and it is a tails. Important to note that JP still has full usage of all his supporters and items. Doesn't matter. There's been no blockade. That Jirachi is stuck active. But what can happen this turn is JP doesn't do anything. He passes, goes up to 60. Liam can then retreat the Jirachi and knock the Landorus out with Empoleon. And not only is Empoleon a fairly beefy, high HP non-EX Pokemon, but it also Landorus is weak to it, so JP is not going to be able to battle it with another Landorus. He'll just get knocked out, and then Lucario is fine, but the Empoleon is going to take at least 2 hits from a Lucario, assuming that JP can play the energy after through Crushing Hammers and things. So Empoleon is actually a pretty good threat here. Obviously, it's sort of similar to the decks that play Seismitoad, but also play Manectric, where Empoleon's a more rawly powerful card and it's doing more damage, but your deck is functioned, in the case of Exeggutor, around blocking your opponents from playing supporters, or in the case of Seismitoad, around blocking your opponents from playing items. And so you kind of have the decision of what you want to do, whether you just want to go raw aggression, stack damage, take knockouts, or try and control the game, which is basically what your deck is built to do. And we see JP actually, Karina searching his deck for an item and a fighting Pokemon. The item appears to be Scoop Up Cyclone, and the fighting Pokemon is the second copy of Lucario. I know I've been seeing some of these decks that only run one Lucario, so having the second Lucario here is going to be very powerful for him. And that Scoop Up Cyclone is going to go ahead and pick up that Landorus and reset everything. The poison will be gone. There's no damage on it, obviously. It goes back to your hand, so you don't have to worry about it dying to Empoleon. You have an energy to attach this turn. Just a really, really smart play. We've got Michael Chin joining us in the booth. How you doing, Michael?
I'm good, Kenny. How you doing? How's the match?
Not too deep into it. We just saw that JP got himself out of a pretty sticky situation by careening for a Scoop Up Cyclone.
Yeah.
To pick up his asleep Landorus that was going to get knocked out by that Empoleon next turn.
Yeah, if you just look at this matchup on paper, it seems like Landy Bats should have the advantage because you can do all that Crobat at Golbat on Execute, though. But it's really a challenging matchup, though, for Landy Bats because if you watch the Pokemon stream from the Winter Regionals when Ross Kaufman played this deck against the Landy Bats, Landy Bats had a very tough time because it's not able to play any supporters at all.
The only thing I think that the fighting deck does have going for it, especially JP's, is that he plays 2 copies of Lucario, which can kind of act like supporters with Corkscrew Smash. So at the end of it, you use 60 and then draw a bunch of cards, which kind of is like your pseudo supporter. So I think that that's an advantage, but I agree with you that the Exeggutor deck is overall favored in the matchup.
So we see a Plasma Energy attached to the Exeggutor, and Team Flare Gun, a laser. Oh boy.
Heads.
Here comes the blockade.
We're going to see a blockade for 10. Well, maybe some other plays too. Turns with this deck can be pretty long between battle compressors and propagating and such, but JP does wake up, so that's the first
Let's
step.
just figure out. Now, JP, what he really needs to do right now is basically try to keep up the energy drop stuff, because the only way for Liam to win this match is basically make his JP's board energy dry. So, and then continuously just keep blockading him, and then keep using trump card.
And we are going to see the Golbat coming into play this turn. I think it's smart to put the Golbat damage on the active Exeggutor. Oh, actually, wait. That's wrong. I apologize. My thinking was incorrect. I
think he just put it on the bench Exeggutor or maybe the Genesect. So.
Yeah, because it's not changing. Unless JP plans to Crobat next turn, it's not actually changing the math, because Lucario will be doing 50, and so he'll be two-shotting.
We see the Golbat damage going to the
Exeggutor.
Bench Exeggutor.
I agree with that. He's already going to two-shot this Exeggutor, so there's no reason to just put more damage on it for pretty little gain.
Now, the good thing coming down for the game plan for Liam right now is that he can continue to blockade, though, but the other option he can do is basically send up, use a Plasma Energy attached to the Genesect, red signal up the Jirachi, and basically try to lock the game from there. Well, I wouldn't say lock the game from there, but basically just stall enough times, and then find a way to Crushing Hammer the Lucario's energy away. So because he's right now at a 3 prize deficit. So the only real way for him is basically try to stall a bunch of turns and then and just keep blockading and do all that, all the lasers, all the crushing hammer flips. So.
Yeah, definitely. JP has taken a pretty big lead this game, and Liam, I don't want to say it's insurmountable, but Liam might not be able to come back here. JP is pumping out a steady stream of damage.
All right, there's the
diving draw.
Let's see what he gets out of this one.
So it's really interesting. I think we've seen, since the printing of cards like Battle Compressor, the reprinting of Versus Seeker, Lysander's Trump card, all those cards, it's been interesting to see the kind of non-EX decks pop up. You know, we have Flareon, we have Night March, we have this deck, and they're all legitimate contenders.
Yeah, obvious. It's just that when Battle Compressor, Lysander's that would make the card really good. Is Lysander's Trump card is just be able to make these decks to basically just cycle through their deck and then just Trump card back away and basically just gain lots of board position by playing all the disruption cards though. And a lot of the annoying decks I would say are the ones you don't want to play against is Exeggutor, Seismitope, Slurpluff though, and Flareon though. It really Trump card itself is a very game changing.
No, absolutely. I think it's warped the way the game is played.
Okay, so we see Liam played a Team Flare Gun on the active Lucario, so yeah, he's going with the game plan. It's basically try to make his board energy dry and just keep him down, so just prevent him from do very little.
Yeah, this is a pretty, the Exeggutor deck is a pretty classic control deck, you're doing little damage, but the effect that you have is pretty big, and you're keeping your opponent off of energy, or you're keeping them asleep with lasers. We've seen this type of deck exist, I guess, going all the way back to the Darkrai Hammers deck with Sableye, where you would do the same thing. You could just sit there with the Sableye and junk hunt for 2 crushing hammers, knock off all your opponent's energy, and then once they're out of energy, you just Night Spear them with Darkrai. And this deck doesn't really have the big finish like the Darkrai deck did, but this deck definitely has just the raw power of things like Hypnotoxic Laser and Burbank City Gym.
I just can't wait for the next format to rotate and get rid of Laser. Oh boy. All right, so we see JP taking out the Exeggutor, though, so putting him down to only needs 2 prizes left. So his options is that he can hit the Exeggutor here, put Liam to 70 damage at least, or if he can get a Crobat and knock out Exeggutor right here. So and then all the JP needs to do is try to put a Lysander up the Mr. Mime.
Oh yeah, if JP is able to.
All right, here's Crushing Hammer, and it's a
heads. I think Liam's hit all heads in this Crushing Hammer. That's got to be frustrating for JP. You can see him looking through his discard pile, probably counting the amount of energy left. But I agree, if JP can stick an energy here and get a Crobat to knock out the Exeggutor after the Missile Jab, I think that'll just be huge.
And it's 0-sick.
Oh, there's a 0-6, so
just cleaned off that Lucario.
So the play we were talking about cannot happen unless JP does find the Muscle Band and the energy. We do see he has the Crobat in hand, though. Can't see what else is in his hand, so
the one thing for Liam to be careful right now is basically he just needs to buy enough turns to figure out if JP has enough energy to draw.
Definitely.
So he just needs, because if you look at his deck, it's getting very, very, very short. So he's about to run a card, so he needs to play that Lysander's Trump card at the right time. So he doesn't need the diving draw. He doesn't need to do that. He just needs to put damage counters. Oh,
absolutely. And there's no blockade, actually.
Wait. There's no blockade?
No, Liam whiffs the energy. So this is huge.
All right. So he just needs supporters right now. He can play supporters. He can play all the Crobat. All right, this is going to be a tough situation right now. What he could probably do is get the Crobat, knock out Execute, and grab a Strong Energy and a Muscle Band.
He has the Strong Energy and the Crobat in his hand. So what he can do is attach the Strong.
Or wait, he could do this. He could just he can Crobat out. He can Crobat the Execute, and then he can probably retreat, attach an energy to Crobat, and not get the Execute on the bench, too. So that's his other option. There are plenty of options for JP at this point because doing 70 is not going to be enough. Okay.
Yeah, so he's going to go ahead and choose to Crobat one of the Exeggutors on the bench.
So all he needs is a switch. He can also Karina for a Landorus and then knock out the Execute here.
He has the Mr. Mime though.
Oh, that's right.
That'll
That's
prevent
right.
that damage. But he does have Versus Seeker for Karina if he has a switch card in his deck. I don't know what JP's list is, but I know Jacob Van Wagner running a similar deck does have one copy of Switch.
Okay, he's going to be a Seeker. Let's see what he gets. A Juniper. Alright. Still trying to figure out what JP's plan here is.
He's also in a tough spot because he can't actually attach the Strong to the Crobat, and so he has to make that decision before discarding.
I guess in some ways he has to go for the Strong energy here because Liam really just crushing Hammer all his fighting energy to play. Alright, here we go. And does he get the... No!
Yeah, he can't win this.
He can't win this turn though. They can...
Yeah, he couldn't have won this turn either way.
Well, if he can figure out the other option right now is that if Liam whips this one energy.
Oh, he's very heavy. I mean, JP's very heavily favored. Liam has this single draw step to figure out how to live through this next turn, which I don't think he can. I don't think Liam plays Max Potion.
Normally these decks don't play Max Potion, though, unless he plays like a... Alright, so there's the energy and the Zero Sick. Alright. So no trump card right now. So alright, blockade again. So
there's the blockade. JP takes a draw step. It's a fighting stadium.
So right now it's Liam is at a race right now. If he can't evolve that Execute. Nope. All right, he needs to get the Exeggutor out, and all right.
Yeah,
so
there's the Exeggutor.
All right, that really diminished his chances right now, though. But he's still at a very big deficit, so he needs to knock out both. Just KO Lucario, Jirachi, and Lucario again. So, he's going for retreat.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and retreat and take the prize here.
That opens the door for JP to take this game. I mean, he only needs to... I know he has the Lysander in his hand, so all he needs is just one energy. Alright, draw... Draw step. There's the strong energy.
The strong energy, not going to be able to... I wonder if JP actually doesn't have any more fighting left. I
did see the Lysander in his hand, so all he needs to do is attach the strong to the Lucario and Lysander up the Exeggutor and win.
Oh, wait, he does have the Lysander?
Yeah, I saw his Lysander. There it is.
Oh, there we go, okay.
All right.
All right, JP just taking a little bit of time to think about what he wanted to do
JP gets his... Well, it's very... Well, it's not really that close, though. It's just that when Liam stalled out there early game...
Yeah, JP just had quite the advantage of that game. So how is your tournament going, Michael?
Well, apparently my record so far is 2-0-2. The one I played on stream, well, I don't want to go talking about that.
Fair enough.
All right. Round 2, I played against Philip Ball with his Trevenant Gengar deck, and I just 2-0'd him. Third round, I played against Rico Connor against Freezing Genesect Mirror, and well, I could say during my game 3, I just had the chance to take the round, the win from him, but I just kind of withdraw on it. So I don't know, it happens. No, that's part of the game. So, and then this round, mine's a no-show. So you could say it's a very eventful tournament so far.
Kind of a weird day. So you already have your Worlds invite, correct?
Yes, I have my Worlds invite. This is going to be my 4th Worlds.
You qualified for 15, 14, 2015, 2014, and what other ones?
2008 and 2009. Nice. The highest accomplishment I ever got at Worlds was at 2009, where I top 32. So
nice. And JP also has his Worlds invite.
Paul Johnston, the Washington State champion.
Is there anyone on Team X Files who doesn't have their invite yet?
I don't want to. Well, there's a very few names though, but
Fair enough. Fair enough.
the only person right now is Tyler Ninomura, though. All he needs is a top 8.
Okay.
8. He's at
Tyler's closer than I thought he was.
Yeah, it's just that Tyler's kind of a wild card in the team, though, because you don't know if he's gonna do good or he's gonna do well. So.
You don't know. You never know what deck he's gonna play.
Obviously. Okay, game 2 starts with Liam obviously going first. So
looks like JP's got a mulligan. Oh, double mulligan.
Double mulligan.
Just got word that Jacob Van Wagner lost his 4th round, putting him down to 2-2 and unlikely to be able to top 8 this event.
Sorry for Jacob. So
he already won regional, so I guess he would just be greedy to win states.
You know, that's for every player's mentality. Even though you won the regionals, though, you still just want to continue to play just for pride. Though.
Oh yeah. And Jacob still has to earn his Worlds invite. He's 35 points off at this point, so he can keep playing. A few more rounds to play today. Maybe get a top 16, some top 16 points out of it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure how many points he has right now for Worlds invite, though. I'm sure he's close to at least 100 or.
Yeah, he's 35 points away.
35 points away. All he needs is just he needs a 12th or 9th seed. Let's hope he gets things really starting right now.
We have another double mulligan.
Let's see, and nope.
Liam has a basic.
Liam has a basic in the bench. And another mulligan.
Okay, another mulligan from JP. So what do you think of the scoop up cyclone that JP has?
Scuba Cyclone is a very situational card, though, because sometimes a lot of these fighting decks, they use computer search a lot, though, because they need to search for a supporter. Like, you don't want to get caught in a hand where you have Karina and don't have any other draw supporters, though. But Scuba Cyclone can be a very surprising card if your opponent is not ready for it. So we'll see how the Scuba Cyclone is, though. I played it during my testing matchups, and it worked. It kind of works, but I don't know. It's personal preference, though. All these ace-back cards is really his personal preference.
It worked pretty well for him last game,
all right.
So we'll see.
So we have a town map.
Town map.
And two Exeggutors. What?
Oh, that's rough.
Oh no! All right, so that's pretty good information there.
Yeah,
Acrobike. He's gonna
discard a
trump card and draws a card, though, and a Juniper. All right, and he decides not to play the Genesect.
Has to discard another Exeggutor as well. That's pretty.
Oh
unfortunate.
no! This is pretty. If JP can capitalize on this, though, he can definitely win this one, though. Right now, JP's at a situation where he just needs to outlast all the Exeggutors. He only needs a KO 2 and hopefully survive the trump card. But now he's down to 3. But Liam's now down to 3 Exeggutors. Now he needs to find that single one.
And
Muscle Band.
The muscle band on the Landorus.
Ultra Ball. VS Seeker and trump card. He's probably going to get a Zubat here, obviously, because it's just...
I think he's actually getting a Jirachi. He pulled a Jirachi to the front. Might not have a supporter in his hand.
This tends a lot of players. A lot of players, what they tend to do is just basically just search out their deck and then just pick a card, though. It's very, very important to look out. It's basically look at how many resources you have, though, at your disposal.
Oh, definitely. Got to figure out what's prized and take a few looks through for sure. And there's the Stellar Guidance.
Stellar Guidance. What's he going to pick out of this one? Could be a Karina. It's a Juniper. Could be a Juniper, maybe? Okay. All right. He's going to pick the Juniper. It's obviously doesn't have doesn't need the Karina, I guess, because what's the whole point of game? It's really what he really needs right now is basically just put Zubat, get some RNG, and just put damage on board. So if he can get this, what he's really doing right now is just setting up the KO on the Mr. Mime. I mean, if you look at heads on Super Scoop Up. So obviously he's reading my mind, though, maybe. All right, Juniper out.
And picking up that Jirachi is big, just being, that Jirachi is a easy prize for most decks, so being able to get it away, get it in the discard piles
All right.
after its had its utility is pretty good.
All right, he's taking the Ultra Ball here.
And there's an Ultra Ball. Getting rid of an N. I imagine this will get a Zubat, but I don't believe that JP has any energy in his hand.
That sucks. Basically, you really do kind of wonder if he could just... I'm not sure if he plays Professor Slayer, though, in his deck. I mean, you got to think to yourself, maybe if you Karina instead, get the Professor Slayer, put your damage on board, and then basically set up the KO there. Let's see, he's going for Lucario.
Missing the energy is huge here. That's quite unfortunate.
All right, so if you look... All right, if I'm taking the JP right now, it's that he's probably thinking the Lucario right now because he needs to continuously draw out, draw out though, but because he but I guess there's no point in getting Lucario if you don't have energy. But he's got to get himself in a situation where if Liam does retreat for the Exeggutor, then he's probably need the Lucario.
Yeah, I agree that he should get Lucario here. It's his best attacker in the matchup, and the Zubats are fine, but there's 4 of them in the deck. You're more likely to draw them. You can get them at any time. Zubats do require evolution, so that's one of the reasons why you want to prioritize getting them out early, but I don't think it's worth getting him over the Lucario here.
I guess in some ways that's kind of the correct play right now, though. You don't need Zubat if you don't have the evolution. All right, there's the energy. Now, as Liam has the Ultra Ball or the... All right, he's trying to dig through it. Dig through time.
Trying to dig for the last...
Dig through time.
The last Exeggutor.
And does he get the Ultra Ball? All right.
Yeah, it's his answer. Exeggutor, Ultra Ball, and I think computer search. That's about it.
All right. We just got... All right, there's the Ultra Ball.
He does have the Ultra Ball. Just considering what the discard, trying to figure out the correct line of play.
Liam's a very methodical player, though. He always thinks about... I would say he's about... If you talk about a player that's similar to Liam, it would probably be like Ross, who's normally... Even though he's not like slow like Ross, though, but he really plans out his mat. His moves very fast. So, all right. Now, does he have a laser?
Nope.
I guess not.
Go ahead and blockade.
He's going to blockade it. All right.
Oh, and JP just has to pass, and this is the power of the Exeggutor deck. You know, JP didn't get a fast setup. He has no energy, and now every time he does a supporter, it's just nothing. There's a strong energy.
Okay, so right now, JP drews the energy. Now, the question is where he's going to go with this.
I have to imagine he goes to the Lucario. He's going to go ahead and 2-shot.
Yeah, he's going to go for the 2-shot route, though. So this is a pretty good situation for JP right now.
He's Crushing Hammer.
He's Crushing Hammer. Tails. Does he have the Enhanced Hammer or 0-6? So that's the question. Now, the plan for Liam right now is basically just take out that... well, I wouldn't say take out. Remove that energy on board and just pray that JP doesn't draw on their energy to kill that last Exeggutor.
Yeah, every time that JP misses an energy drop, it just gives Liam another turn of A, keeping Exeggutor alive, and B, just being able to find other resources like lasers or more Crushing Hammers or Team Flare Grunts to keep JP off of energy. And there's a computer search. I imagine you have to get a Team Flare Grunt there. It just seems too strong to knock off, or the 0-6, whichever. It just seems too strong to knock off that energy.
Let's see what the Ultra Ball. Did he Ultra Ball, or did he use computer search?
He computer search.
Okay, so it depends on what he computer search.
He's gonna go ahead and laser. Is a Tails.
Doesn't matter.
Versus Seeker.
He's gonna
for
Okay,
the Archies.
All right, so he's all right. He's really gonna dig through that.
There's a
And
crushing
another
hammer.
crushing hammer, and
It's a heads.
Oh,
Wow. All right.
all right, here we go.
So this is where the match has swung in Liam's direction once
All
again.
right, diving draw.
Now he's got the driving draw up and everything.
Burbank. All right, here we go.
So JP can still get the knockout here if he top decks energy. Not impossible, but he doesn't. He top decks an N and bounces the Verbank. And just go ahead and pass the turn. Move it to 70 damage. And like I said, every turn that JP doesn't draw energy is just another turn that Liam gets to build his resources. And then soon enough, if Liam can knock out that Lucario, he'll just
Get 2
go ahead and
Exeggutors.
snatch up those 2 Exeggutors.
All right, I imagine that's an. Nope.
The Versus Seeker.
He's going to be a seeker for the trump card, and he's obviously going to take those executes back to his hand. All right, here we go. Now Liam has all his disruption again.
He did. I mean, this does have the roundabout effect of shuffling in some of JP's energy in his deck, but it's really not much. It's shuffling way more supporters in, so he's definitely just increasing the number of dead draws JP has, which is unfortunate for JP. One of the ways this deck can press the advantage more and more.
Times like this, you wish you ran like roller skates or Echo Bike, so you can just draw, just basically just make Exeggutor or crack.
Definitely.
All right, Battle Compressor. I think he's just probably going to get rid of mostly dead cards, or he's going to grab like a Napoleon. Okay, town map.
Yeah, there's a town map, unplayable.
Archie. And a Battle Compressor. All right. He doesn't need those. Normally, if he has VS Seeker, though, well, but I really doubt right now, though. Normally, he just put like a Juniper down there, so.
Yeah.
Now it's a race. Can JP kill this Exeggutor? Can he top deck the energy? Muscle
There's
band.
the band on the other execute.
All right, blockade. Here we go.
Draw step.
Nothing. It looks like it doesn't.
Lightning energy.
It can't be lightning. Even if it were an air.
Yeah, it's lightning energy.
Okay, that kind of works though, but it doesn't work in this.
There's a crushing hammer.
And
okay, it's a tails. It's tails.
Diving draw.
I'm taking a strong consideration here. Discarding the plasma.
I agree.
Didn't quite see what he put into his hand.
I wish I knew what he drew. So, all right, it's a poke. It's Jirachi. Okay.
Stellar Guidance.
Going to get pick here. Juniper. Okay. Now he's trying to dig for more. So. Energy
There's the Juniper.
All right.
I think Liam's dream here is crushing hammer the lightning, play of Verbank City Gym to knock out the Lucario.
Yep. That's the ideal situation.
And let's see. Let's see what he's got. Go ahead and propagate twice. Ultra Ball them both away. Go ahead and get the other Exeggutor.
All right. All right, it's going to keep building up.
Yeah, with now with 2 Exeggutors on board and JP with almost no resources, Liam is firmly taking control of this game. That energy on the Manectric is gonna be a big deal. Liam wants to deal with that as soon as possible. He doesn't want to let JP have too many energy ever, but.
Well, if you look at JP's board, okay, here we go. Verbank City. Now he's going to get knock out this Lucario.
Does he have the crushing hammer as well? Doesn't look like it.
Well, I wouldn't say crushing hammer would be needed here though, because Manectric only really does like 20 though, and he has that Mr. Mime on the bench. So if you look at it, he needs like fighting to knock out this Exeggutor. But if you're in JP's position right now, you're gonna be in one real long game, or you just scoop here and basically get to play fast. Though
I don't think.
But it depends on how much time is left, though, too.
I don't think you're in the position to scoop. I feel like there's still some chance that you can win the game that you don't want to scoop and then potentially tie a game 3. So I think JP's right for playing it out, but I would say he is going to need to think about the consideration of scooping, or the possibility of scooping within the next few minutes. Laser tails.
How much time would you give JP? About maybe at least 5 minutes, maybe.
It's so hard to judge the time, but looking around, it seems like most players are done playing. So maybe 5 more minutes. I mean, I have to. The sad thing is I have to imagine.
All right, there's the energy off.
I have to imagine this game probably just ends in a draw. There's probably not more than 15 minutes left in the round, 20 minutes, and.
Okay, so you look at Liam's board right now. He already has 3 energy on Exeggutor. Basically, he's setting up for, you can say, the end game situation where he knocks out this Magnetric and basically Lysander up with Landorus. Because he can't block. He can't use the second attack here though. But so basically, he knocks out this Magnetric and then Lysander up the Landorus. Landorus, do your blockades for a couple turns and then just knock it out with your second attack. All right, they're playing VS screen for Juniper and a trump card. Propagate. All right, here we go again.
Liam executing that a little bit sloppily, just kind of putting cards in his hand. In a deck like this where you're propagating multiple things and drawing lots of cards, I think I would be a little bit more clear about my actions, but I'm not going to end up hurting him.
Well, JP fought this deck multiple times, and plus he used this during Winter Regionals too.
Definitely.
So it really doesn't. JP really doesn't mind though that he's going to do this. Have Liam just do propagate though. But yeah, you could say if you're up against another player, you have to be very. You have to do it one at a time, like solitaire.
Definitely.
Diving draw.
And this flip's going to be pretty big here. And it's a head, so...
Heads. All right, so what can he do?
To find a way to retreat. Does he have it?
Nope.
I don't think so.
So, Exeggutor and a muscle band, so... Such very little time around, it's very likely that this is going to end in a draw, though. I'm not saying that it really depends on what the game 3 start is, though. I mean, you could have Exeggutor blockade turn 1, well, turn 2, and then JP draws nothing, though, during game 3, though. But that's kind of like the situation.
Certainly, if the game's going to last less than 10 minutes, it's going to be JP is going to be the winner.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Draw, pass. Laser. All right, blockade, and he's just gonna blockade again. So, all right, 30.
Well, does he have the energy for the Empoleon?
Nope. Well, I'm sure it's there though.
Yeah, actually, you're right. You don't want to even do that. You just want to blockade and stick that Landorus active. Don't let JP draw any cards off of supporters.
All right, there's the rainbow. So, does he KO here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's it. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's a KO.
Yep, that's a knockout there.
All right. All right, game 2 goes to Liam.
We're going to game 3.
Maybe we might see a win. Let's hope for maybe a win, though. I mean, how many ties do we have so far?
It's going to be tough. We actually haven't seen a tie on camera yet today, so this might be our first, but there's a chance that Liam just dead draws. JP gets a really aggressive start and is able to
or maybe
bench him before too long.
Or maybe have a worse situation for Liam though. He prized 3 Exeggutors though. I mean, he was very close to.
Oh, I can't imagine. I once prized all 4 of my double colorless energies while playing Luxray Garchomp back in that season, but
Oh boy, Luxchomp.
It wasn't too bad because I was able to take prizes and then I would almost always draw a DCE. Like my first 2 prizes were DCE, so just kind of once I was able to set up, I could just draw my best cards every turn, basically.
You know, I just remember this one city championship too when it's kind of like where you prize double colors energy. The worst thing that could happen is I have like 3 Cyrus Conspiracy prize in one city championship match though.
That's rough.
Can't imagine an engine that runs basically on Cyrus Conspiracy.
So both players shuffling up.
All right, so very little time right now. So JP has to play this game real quick. Well, I would say these 2 players have to play it quick.
Definitely. It's in both of their best interests sitting at 3-0. 3, 0, and 1 is fine. Better than a loss, but not by much.
All right. Starts with a Saw Zubat there from JP. I'm still trying to figure out what Liam's basic style. All right. Execute. Okay. Gotcha. This is where like 2 formats ago where you can attack first. That was like, all right, Karina, Landorus, boom, boom.
Good game. All right, so we've got a Zubat active.
All right, Ultra
JP's
Ball.
gonna go get an Ultra Ball.
Starts Lysander. It depends what he's going to draw here. He can get a Landorus, he can get a Jirachi, and as I said, if you can't Ultra Ball, you can't figure out what you need to get though, or you need something to get out. Jirachi always be the guy. All right, he's Jirachi.
Stellar Guidance.
So right now, JP has a two-turn window here where he needs to get like Zubat, Golbat, Zubat, and Landorus stuff. But basically, JP needs a board where he can respond to from these blockades. So this is his first turn window where he needs to get like Landorus or Lucario. I'll get energy on board and just wait it out.
Definitely.
And it's going to be a very tough. It's going to be a strange format when next season though when N rotates. So.
Yeah,
everyone play its red card.
No more N, no more Rizzy and Genesect. Assuming we rotate to XY on. Be a lot of.
But who knows? Maybe Pokemon might do expanded again though. All right. Lucario. Does he have the energy?
Is GP missing another energy drop?
Again?
Wow, he's already had.
Really?
He's already had so much trouble with these, and then
he's just missing energy drops.
And then Liam is also making him miss energy drops with Crushing Hammer. So wow, that's just
well,
for JP.
Well, in some ways, this could be eventful for JP as well, because if you're not playing energy, he doesn't need to play Liam doesn't need to play Crushing Hammers. So
True.
Battle Compressor for Empoleon, obviously. He's probably thinking about that too.
I imagine he'll get Egg Empoleon Archies or Egg Empoleon or some combination of that. There's also taking a non-Archie supporter as a common play, so you can Versus Seeker it back as we.
Okay, he's going to get Execute, and Juniper.
Propagate the 2 eggs.
Get Mr. Mime.
He has to get the Mr. Mime there. He can't afford to
lose an egg.
Many prizes.
That Mr. Mime prevents that bench damage, though. Keeps those eggs from being scrambled.
Definitely. And there's the Versus Seeker getting back to Juniper.
And here we go. Well, there's one Crushing Hammer and a Flare Gun, so.
Yeah, that's good news for JP if he can ever draw an energy, but it's, gosh.
He needs this turn right now.
He will have the use of supporters for at least this turn. We do see, though, that Liam has the Team Flare Grunt in his hand should anything tricky happen.
That kind of sucks.
Juniper is a draw for JP.
So right now, JP's thinking of.
I'm gonna go ahead and fire off the Juniper.
Okay, obviously he needs an energy here, needs a Zubat, so basically this is the only turn where he can potentially... Okay, no, he's not going to... He's obviously just can't KO that Execute on the bench. He has to know that that's going to be an Exeggutor soon, so he's got to prepare for the worst for it, though.
And I think I think that JP is fine just attached to the Lucario. Take this knockout on the Crobat, or sorry, take this knockout on the Execute, and then have the ability to attach a second energy next turn to Corkscrew Smash. We do know that Liam has a Team Flare Grunt in his hand, so if he wants to, he can prevent JP from being able to attach a second energy. I think it'll depend on this flip, which is a Tails.
It's a laser flip. Here, all right, does he draw?
There's a Propagate.
Crushing Hammer, maybe. Yeah. Okay, energy down to the bench Execute, so. Alright, he's thinking about the removal right now. He's got thinking about
Computer
it.
search. There's the Exeggutor
and
there's
the Flare
Team
Gun.
Flare Gun.
Okay.
JP does have more energy in hand. I think he has 2 more. So he will be able to attack, but he's not going to be able to Corkscrew Smash for a while, which will be unfortunate.
Okay.
And there's a Missile Jab.
Missile Jab. For 70. Jab set down. Alright, easy. Plasma energy.
Seven cards for Liam.
Which one do you like better, Juniper or Sycamore?
Juniper.
You like Juniper?
I always default to playing the original card. And Juniper has the full art version, which is cool. How about you?
I don't... Well, I'm kind of a little torn between Juniper and Sycamore, though, but I picked Sycamore because it reminds me of a certain anime character, so that kind of does the same post. But I don't want to mention it since this is rated PG. So.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Soon Juniper will be rotated, and you'll only be able to play her in expanded. So Sycamore will be everywhere.
Rainbow energy to the Execute. Oh,
it's a risky move by Liam.
He's definitely.
But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
I would imagine you just played that Rainbow Energy to maybe Genesect or maybe a Mr. Mime. You know, you may never know.
And
Well, that's time.
JP is turn 0.
I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty obvious.
Oh
Right
no,
now.
Liam was turn 0 because JP has not drawn his card yet.
This is going to be a tough situation because JP needs 2 turns to figure out how to get 5 prizes, but it's very hard to imagine taking 5 prizes in 2 turns versus where he need multiple turns to do it. So it really depends on how Liam's going to continue doing this, though. I mean, you can keep doing blockade.
I think they're
Alright,
going to
it's
take
gonna
the draw.
tie.
They realize that the game cannot end naturally. So for those of you who don't know how the time rules work, they have 3 more turns. So Liam was turn 0. JP will have a turn. Liam will have a turn. JP will have a turn. And there's no way with 5 prizes and 6 prizes left the game can actually end naturally. So the players are just deciding to go ahead and take a draw and not waste anyone's time. Thank you, Michael, for
Yes.
joining us, and good luck in the rest of this
Yeah,
tournament.
thank you
We'll
for
be
having
right
me,
back.
Kenny.